Hello to all. Welcome to Books and Us, the podcast about learning, about new ideas and getting inspiration from books. I'm Ranjit Monga, and as you know, every week I take a book in the non-fiction category from which we can get a wealth of knowledge and information. The interviews conducted on this podcast are also available on the news website www.globalbihari.com. So if you want to read about them, just go to the website and search under my name or the column, which is called Literary Speaking.
The book looks at the changing narrative of aging in urban India because there has been a gradual shift and how older adults across India have adapted to it and how aging is no longer just one visual of a frail older person.
Yes.
It has many dimensions, many nuances, and we have tried to start a conversation on that with this book.
Today I'm going to talk about an important topic, actually a phase of life which affects all of us. We have used the phrase age is just a number so many times in a life. But do we really understand what it means? It's time we really get to understand it because the issue of aging is important. India is projected to have 300 million senior citizens by the year 2050. So, how can we, as part of an aging population, keep ourselves engaged, healthy, and happy? I came across this book, Rethink Aging, which encourages us to do that and tells us how. To talk to us about it are the co authors of the book, Reshmi Chakraborty and Nidhi Chawla. Reshmi is a former journalist based in Pune. Nidhi, who is based in Bangalore, has worked for several years in the financial sector. She is the recipient of several leadership awards for her work in elder care space. Both of them also co-founded an organization for older citizens called Silver Talkies. They are here to tell us everything about their organization and about their book. So welcome to both Reshmi and Nidhi. But let me start by asking Reshmi about the book and its concept. What is the book all about, Reshmi?
Thank you for having us here. And the concept of the book is based on active aging, the various parameters that define active aging. And it is an amalgamation of our work at Silver Talkies that we started in 2014 and all the learnings we have had since then. Active aging is a WHO defined concept that talks about the process of developing and maintaining certain functional abilities that will enable your well-being, throughout your life, through your older years also. And this well-being is not just physical well-being. It goes beyond physical well-being. It looks at your social, your emotional, your spiritual well-being, your cognitive well-being, environmental well-being. So that is the concept we base the book on. So which is why the chapters are divided into various things, right from health to your physical health, mental health, your second career, your spiritual, the aspect of spiritualism, aging in place, which looks at the environmental aspect. The book looks at the changing narrative of aging in urban India because there has been a gradual shift and how older adults across India have adapted to it and how aging is no longer just one visual of a frail older person.
Yes.
It has many dimensions, many nuances, and we have tried to start a conversation on that with this book.
So, Nidhi, I'm going to bring you in now. You have shared a lot of the experiences from Silver Talkies in the book. So, in your view, which ones are the ones which stand out, or I would say that are your learnings about aging?
So, Ranjit, actually, when Silver Talkie started out, right, for both of us, Reshmi and I, the idea of Silver Talkies ideally actually came from home because we both were observing changes that our own parents were undergoing and, the kind of isolation or boredom that they were facing. And when we kind of went out scouting for opportunities for them, we realized that how as a society, we were taking older adults or seniors, how we kind of popularly call them as very granted. There was not much which was really happening for them. There were no opportunities. I think it was just taken for granted that once you at a certain life stage, you are expected to kind of take a step back, just be at
Yeah.
home. If you're tired, just be
Sit in the corner. Sit in the corner.
correct. Sit in the corner, hang up your boots, don't have any expectations, kind of still be dependent on family, be the babysitters. That's how the idea of Silver Talkies came to us. That, I think there was a strong need and also an opportunity to create this exclusive forum for older adults where they could come together and possibly do things of their own choice. And as we kind of embarked on that journey, I think till date, we are still learning many new things which come to our attention through our deep conversations and interactions with our members. We also started with the basic understanding, thinking that, they are seniors, so maybe there is only a general category of engagement programs that they would like, and, or how all of us think about aging, that okay, maybe it would be a yoga session, maybe it would be a bhajan session. But as and when we started talking to them, in fact, our first event was actually a gallery visit. We visited, artist Paul Fernandez's gallery in Bangalore called the Apology Gallery. There were 12 people who came with us, and we had an interaction with Paul himself. So I think that camaraderie and the rapport that the group saw amongst each other, just having a good time, interacting over a common topic, then hanging out at a cafe, having a cup of coffee together. I think that gave us a lot of ideas in terms of things that we could actually provide them with. And after that, I think there has been no looking back. So to answer your question, I think the biggest learning and what we have even tried to kind of bring out in the book is that one, aging cannot be caged in any box. You cannot stereotype it saying that you are at a certain age, so you have to find, kind of follow a certain protocol or a certain system. In fact, what we have discovered through our members is that they are ready to actually try out a lot of new stuff. So we have had things like theater workshops, dance workshops. They have done fashion shows with us. They love traveling. In fact, I think they're raring to travel. They want to go see different places. They want to party hard. So, so all those things which probably they could not do when they were taking care of their families or their careers, they really want to experiment all that now. So today, the way I would describe Silver Talkie, so we are a tech-enabled community forum for older adults. So we cater to the 55 plus population. So our youngest member today is 55. Our oldest member is about 96.
Yeah, and I came to know through your book that there are several such organizations running all over the country who are bringing seniors together and inspiring them in different ways. So, Reshmi, can you come in now and tell me that what exactly a person who's aging, what he can do or he or she can do to, keep up the movement, keep their mind active?
So the thing is, while yes, movement is very important, I'm taking off from, how Nidhi was describing what we do at Silver Talkies, and I've first come to social engagement. That is one of the key things that kind of really drives you as you grow older. Finding a community to fall back on, having friendships, having a circle of your own is really, really a key factor that we came across. And that, many things fall in place. Once you have that factor in place, the other important thing, of course, is to keep moving. Since you mentioned that, in fact, that's what most experts suggest, that keep moving to the best extent you're able to. It's enough to keep yourself active. One of the things a physiotherapist I was talking to for the book, we were speaking to for the book, mentioned, she said, I tell my patients, I tell older adults I come across that if nothing, keep that jug of water at the place in your house where it's the furthest from where you're sitting, so that you'll get up to get the jug of water. You will not sit there and just extend your hand and take. So there are so many small ways.
Yes.
And of course, the other important part is also your mental health, because there is very less focus on the mental health of elders. And that aspect is also something we have highlighted in the book, plus spirituality, which sort of helps keep you grounded in many ways.
So, can you share some inspiring stories from the book? Because I came across so many of them, but if you can relate a few which our listeners can also relate to and get inspired.
So, well, quite a few. One of the story, because I was talking about social engagement, this is a member of ours, Ravi Acharya, and he talked about the importance of continuing with friendships. He said somehow as we grow older, we don't give that much importance to friendships. They tend to fall apart. And in any case, as people retire, as they move cities very often, nowadays, very often people come back to either the city of their birth or they move to be in a different city with their children. Your networks kind of start depleting. I have seen that example with my own father in my home, how his social networks sort of started depleting and it impacted him to an extent. So Mr. Acharya talks about how he makes it a point. It's almost part of a process for him to, keep up with his friends, make that effort to meet them, and not over WhatsApp or over social media. Actually, try and meet his friends physically, and also start getting involved with different. He is involved with with multiple social causes, so that he not just meets people his age, he meets people across generations. So he talks about how it's important to keep up your social peer group social connections, and also how it's important to have maintain your intergenerational social connects. So that's one of the there's a learning in that story. Of course there are many other stories like that. Nidhi, you can mention some.
To my mind, the story which comes up to me is something which we have covered in the spirituality chapter. There is a story about Hira Rupani, who basically, she's very spiritual in the sense that she is a do-gooder. Like she basically helps a lot of people. She is associated with one of the spiritual gurus also. So for her, that sense of purpose and sense of doing which she gets from these practices, other than her spiritual practices which she anyways follows, she does meditation and other things as well, but this sense of purpose which brings her calm and peace, which also held her in good stead when her husband suddenly passed away, how she was able to kind of stay very grounded in the reality and accept the hardship that she had to go through when she suddenly lost her husband, that she had the wherewithal to actually and have the presence of mind on how she wanted to really say goodbye to her husband. And she made arrangements to travel to Pune from Hyderabad to her Guruji's ashram and make all those arrangements. I think that sense of being able to accept even what's negative in your life, that groundedness that comes with your practices and that sense of purpose, to me, I think that was a very good example of what kind of equanimity that one can actually practice to really hold good. Many examples in there of people who are leading a life of their choice, especially now when they have found this newfound freedom, when they don't have any more, responsibilities. And even those who have responsibilities, like there are many examples, even in the book, of people who may be caregivers, but how they are making active choices to take care of themselves, in spite of all those things that they have to do at home or otherwise, right? So, for example, in book we have featured Shakuntala Pai, who's one of our members, who was a caregiver for a very long time to the super seniors in her house. While she took care of that responsibility very well and she owned it, but now that she has time, she is actually really finding time to discover things for herself. She's dabbling with art. She, pretty much every day spends time painting. She walked the fashion show at one of our shows. She recently participated in a play that we had an opportunity for, and she's found this newly found freedom. In fact, very recently on her 77th birthday, when I was with her and I asked her when she was cutting the cake that what is your wish? What do you wish for? So she said, Nidhi, now that I have experimented with theater, I wish to do more of theater. So, so there was this new spark in her, which actually was very, very bubbling and very interesting to see that at 77, she was raring to go and do more of theater.
Yeah,
So I
and
think
something
these
to
are
look forward to.
stories.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to, and that excitement and the creativity. She participates in music programs, as I said, so she's found new avenues to keep herself busy, and I think that's the way to lead your life rather than sit in one corner and be grumbling about your age or lack of something. I think there are many stories of people who may have physical ailments also, but they find their own way to kind of live with it and still continue to make the most of what they have, what they can do.
No, absolutely. In fact, when Nidhi was mentioning this physical, it's not a physical ailment. There are examples of people who have overcome physical ailments in the book and have gone on to do incredible things. There's a very simple thing, if I may be allowed to share.
Sure.
There's the story of this lady called Geeta, who is now an avid trekker. And she has actually started a fitness routine very late in life so that she will have the strength to trek. And the reason I mention that is for many people, when they realize that as they grow older, certain, staying physically fit is imperative to stay mobile. Many people start thinking, but I've never done it my whole life. I mean, how can I start something at the age of 50 or 60? How can I start something at 65? So Geeta had never, when she realized that she loves the mountains and she would love to go and trek, the physiotherapist she was working with told her to walk in the swimming pool and start a gym routine. Geeta had never stepped into a swimming pool in her life, let alone go to a gym. And when she was talking to us, she was, describing this whole thing in hindsight in an extremely funny way, how the gym instructor looked at a salwar kameez clad lady and thought ki ye kya karegi, why is she in the gym, or how she really donned a swimsuit for the first time in her life and decided to step into the pool with great trepidation. But she said, I just thought of those mountains and I did it. And to somebody in this generation, it may not seem very huge to kind of get into a gym or step into a pool, but it was a big thing for someone who had never thought of a life in that way.
A lot of people, when they age, they also have financial problems, and you have talked about this issue a lot in the book about how they can, start a new business or take up earning avenues. So, can you describe what are the avenues there for them? What are the choices? Is there a senior job market out there?
You're very right that finances are an issue, and not everybody has a social security system or pensions to kind of hold them in good stead as they are aging. So increasingly so, it's also about the age, right? At 60 or 65, when people are retiring, they are not really feeling ready to give up an active lifestyle. So to your question, if a second career market is there in India, well, I think it can be better. It's something which is still evolving.
Mm-hmm.
But given that there is a lot of younger population in India, still very high unemployment rates and all, it's still a long way to go where you would probably see the retirees being really leveraged in meaningful opportunities. But that shift is already starting to happen. I think the government did start an initiative called the Sacred, though it did not go too far. But at least I think they did try it out, which gives us hope that it could be revived and given a better shape in the near future. But then there are few private companies, few startups who have already kind of started working in this field, and I think they are trying their level best to engage with corporates to even kind of consider retirees for gigs or part-time opportunities or project-based opportunities. There are, in the book we do write about some of the opportunities where it's probably easier for seniors to find themselves, like content writing or accounting jobs, or even there are a lot of philanthropic activities or NGOs that they can be a part of. There is so much they can contribute through their wisdom and their experience. So there are definitely opportunities which are around there. I think it just takes a little while to find the right one. I think it's also very important for the seniors to kind of accept the fact that they may not be able to find exactly a job or an opportunity of a similar level or a similar kind of an engagement that they have been used to. And I think it should also be considered as an opportunity to really reinvent or rediscover, another space or area where they can find a meaningful way to contribute, right? And staying committed, of course, becomes very important as well.
What about starting something of their own? Because there are a lot of case studies in your book where about people who have started their own business or started earning
Right.
through utilizing their talents in their old age.
Like, for example, I think one example is even Reshmi's mom, for that matter. She uh, has been an artist. She used to paint these dupattas and saris, hand painted dupattas, and she has actually taken to social media, and she's an entrepreneur in her own right, where she sells these dupattas, hand painted dupattas and saris through social media. Similarly, we have another entrepreneur in our midst, Mrs. Madhu Mehra, who had a flair for knitting, and with the help from her family, her daughters and her son-in-law, she makes these beautiful knitted products, which she even sells at some of the big exhibitions. She participates in exhibitions, and as a very popular knitter in the Bangalore circles, it is doable. One needs to identify what part of their skill can they actually leverage to become an entrepreneur, whether it could be consulting, it could be something like a product based venture that the couple of examples that I just spoke about. And also some form of I think reskilling or upskilling is also required to even be available, say, on social media, or on even have their own profiles on LinkedIn and all. Raj, do you want to add any more examples here?
Yeah, sure. In fact, what Nidhi was talking about, reskilling and upskilling, whether you're doing your own venture or whether you're applying for a job, you really need to be open to that. I mean, if you're doing your own venture, one of the key things that work nowadays is to be social media savvy, to learn to use Instagram. Uh, there are instances in the book of people who are in great jobs and who are slated to retire, but they have no option, no desire to sit at home and do nothing. Somebody, Veena Iyer, who is a banker, but she trained herself. She did a full-fledged course at Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai in dance movement therapy. And she is now working as a dance movement therapist and constantly keeping herself upskilled and trained in whatever's coming. I want to quickly share Harbhajan Kaur's example. She's not a member of ours.
Harbhajan Kaur started a business of selling pickles at the age of 90.
Laddus, yes, laddus and pickles and few other things she's added to her repertoire. Like, she's constantly innovating. Ultimately, what really really helps is your own mindset and your own willingness. At 90, Harbhajan Kaur really didn't need to start a business, but she felt she had never earned a living, and she really felt that she needed to experience that. And when we spoke to her, one of the things that her family mentioned, that while we help her, while we have helped take this ahead in terms of social media and all those things, she herself hasn't taken a back seat that now there are people helping me, ye to chal gaya, ab main aaram se baith jati hu. No. She still supervises everything, including the amount of oil that is packed on top of the pickles when she sends out a pickle bottle. So she has that constant interest and willingness to see her business, even after it has take off, see her business succeed.
So, to recap, can you suggest a roadmap for elders to achieve active and healthy aging?
It is very important that if as an individual, seniors were to empower themselves and learn to make their own choices and take that initiative to lead a better life rather than always be dependent on their family members to take care of them. So while we would definitely we continue to invest in our families, it's also time for seniors to really learn to be on their own and find a social circle outside their own families, and even find a sense of purpose. So having that sense of purpose and staying committed to it, I think also helps them stay healthy and independent for the longest time. And I think one cannot talk enough about the importance of physical health. What also happens many a times is that one feels very demotivated to say go out for walks alone or do things for themselves. So I think a small suggestion would be is to find those communities or forums where they can do things in groups. I think multiple options are now available, be it online or offline. You can find groups which do yoga together in a park, right? You can even find online yoga group sessions, and many of these are now catered specifically for older adults. Group sessions are a great way not just to keep yourself physically healthy, but even to get those those emotional and social bonds that we were talking about earlier. You had asked us this question about finances, right? And that also is a way to kind of prepare yourself for your retirement. So planning your finances, planning for your health, and even planning your homes for your evolving aging needs kind of has a lot of importance. So there is a concept of aging in place which talks about how with age your homes also need to adapt to take care of your evolving physical needs, for example, right? Now there are many products in the market which can help adapt your house, make them elder friendly, make them senior friendly. So having those anti-skid tiles in your bathrooms, because as this statistics have shown that most of the falls happen in the bathrooms, right? So how can you prevent that fall, and how can you really take care of yourself by putting grab bars? So being open to those ideas as well, because for the longest time I think we spend in denial, saying ki ye mujhe nahi chahiye, or feeling little embarrassed about having to take on these new aids. So I think getting over that embarrassment or that shyness and doing what is best for oneself is very important now. And if you really feel that your home is not conducive for you anymore, because many people we have seen, find it very difficult to maintain their homes, or their daily chores like cooking or housekeeping can become very difficult. There are new, opportunities available in the market, like the retirement living communities, which are coming up, which are basically homes which are designed specifically for the elderly population in mind, which come with all these what we were talking about, grab rails or anti-skid tiles, which have cafeterias where you don't have to take care of cooking. You have your housekeeping staff is available. There is medical staff available to check in on you. Even people who can't take care of themselves, who need help with things of the activities of daily living. There are new concepts like assisted living facilities, which are now emerging in the market, or people who may have dementia, may need specialized help and care. You have dementia care centers, daycare centers. So I think we as a country, as a society, are now opening up to many such new concepts which were not earlier heard of. But yeah, there is still a lot of stigma and taboo which one associates with the fact that, if I go to a retirement living community, it may essentially mean that my children are not willing to take care of me. But I think these are now coming, these are concepts or ideas which are now kind of rudimentary, they are passe, and I think one just needs to, just as I said initially, where I started from, I think one just needs to learn to take care of themselves and make those choices which are best suited for them. And I think the best part of living in community formats, whether it is intergenerational, is that you have people around you. You have, you are not lonely anymore, because loneliness, isolation are the commonest problems that seniors talk about, and the boredom that comes with it. And so I think some of these things, if you were to start preparing yourself, I think that's the best way to lead an active life and stay as engaged as you can, whether it is learning a new hobby, upskilling yourself, go out, meet people, socialize. I think that's what it will take to really age well.
Yes, and the most important thing is that their own mindset should evolve to an extent that they get out of their comfort zones and
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, Reshmi, would you like to add to give some suggestions to people? For example, at what age can they start, and what should they be doing?
There is no age to start. In fact, like Nidhi was talking about planning, there is, and we have examples in the book of people who plan not just their finances or their estates and all that, but they also went beyond it. They planned a life. We have the example of an advocate in the book who wanted a life beyond retirement, which went beyond law. He said, I don't want to remain a lawyer and just a lawyer. So he consciously developed interests in music, in theater. And as he grew older, and of course, some of the work networks fell, there was grief and loss in his life. He was able to face all that and keep himself as busy and active as he was, with the help of, all those hobbies he took up earlier in life.
Yeah, and I think he started when he was 27.
Yes. So while that 27 is like being super planned. So while most of us may think of it maybe when we are 40, it is very important for everyone to think how will they lead their lives, and after their work, or even if it's a homemaker, after that homemaker is free from certain responsibilities like school going children or maybe caregiving in some aspects, how would they plan the next 30-40 years of their life? Because most of us are living longer nowadays. We have better medical facilities to take care of certain health issues. So how do you fill up those hours? And it's also a way to give yourself a sense of purpose. So yes, you can look at, planning certain things. And that is a change that is happening. That's all I would like to add. I mean, when you have that openness, probably things just come for you. You don't tell yourself, hey, I'm 60 now, I can't do this. You probably tell yourself, I'm 16, now I have the time to do something I've wanted to do always.
So on that optimistic note, thank you so much, both Reshmi and Nidhi, for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Thank you for reading the book, everyone, whoever's read it. And thank you so much, Ranjit, for reading it.
Yeah. So would you like to add any contact details and tell people how can they be members of Silver Talkies?
Yeah, sure. So anybody who would like to become a member of the Silver Talkies Club, as we said, the only qualification criteria is that you need to be 55 plus. You can belong to any city, any part of the world, in fact, because we do have members from other geographies as well. So you can visit our website, silvertalkies.com. And you can even look us up on our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. You can look again for Silver Talkies, which is SilverTalkies. And you can also write to us at connect@silvertalkies.com.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you so much, Ranjit.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to share about a book or know authors you would like to put me in touch with, you can reach me at podcast@ramonproductions.org. That is RAMONPRODUCTIONS.org. Thank you for listening to this episode of Books and Us. If you liked it, pass the word and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Amazon Music. So that's all for this episode. This is Ranjit Monga signing off. Till next time, goodbye and take care.